Yo, welcome to another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K Sapp. And today we got a brilliant show for you guys today. But when you come across the video, make sure you give it the thumbs up. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure your post notifications on so you know when Simply Ball Dropping drops another hot banger. And for anybody that's new to the channel that comes across this video, please hit the subscribe button. On this channel, you know what we do. We talk sports, hot topics, roundtable talk, and a marriage chronicles. I see everybody in the comments section. #salute. And you know what my mantra is. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. But we're going to get right off into it. Major news, man. Reebok just announced that Shaquille O'Neal and Allen Iverson will be president and vice president of their basketball operations. So what does that mean? You know, Reebok is a competitor to Nike. When Shaquille O'Neal first came in the league in 1992, you know, he's the forefather. He signed a lucrative deal with Reebok. He had his own signature shoe. And, you know, the Reebok brand took off. And then you had the likes of Shawn Kemp and other guys like that. And then in 1996, Allen Iverson stepped on the scene and signed a $40 million deal with Reebok, a lifetime guarantee. And he had his own signature shoe. You know, back then in the 90s, you know, Reebok and Nike was the brand of basketball. Converse was early in the 80s with Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. But when the 90s came, a whole different, you know, swag of athletes came in. Then you had Reebok, you had Nike. But now these days in basketball, you're really seeing guys wearing the Nike brand. Nike has really solidified itself in the NBA. Really solidified itself in the NBA. You know, you got the likes of LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and, you know, Mike set that off with the Jumpman and Nike. You know, LeBron got his own signature shoe. Kevin Durant got his own signature shoe. I mean, it's different. You know, Kyrie had his own signature shoe with Nike. Ja Morant got his own signature shoe. You know, a lot of guys are wearing the Jordan brand, Luka Doncic, Russell Westbrook. You got Zion Williamson. You got a lot of guys representing that Nike brand. But this news that just came out from Reebok, it is huge. And it all goes back to when Nike had the hiccup with Kyrie Irving, when he went to his Twitter and this anti-Semitic tweet, and Nike took him off the shelf. And the thing about it is, you know, all the things that Ja Morant went through and things like that, they never took, you know, Ja Morant off the shelf with the gun incidents. And that's basically saying that Nike, you know, they condoning what Ja Morant did with the guns, but they didn't condone what Kyrie Irving did, just reposting a tweet on his Twitter and had his contract with Nike not a void. And the reason why I say that is because recently Kyrie signed a lucrative deal with Anta. And he has basically player control over a lot of things that Anta does with that brand. So Kyrie can influence other athletes to come and sign with that brand because he said he knows the ins and outs, and it's about the culture. You can relate to certain people. So people are not going to shy away from, you know, signing with Anta. So Kyrie Irving has a lot of say in what Anta does with their shoe product for basketball. You know, he has this custom shoe coming out. He has a lot of say, and I think he's like 90%, you know, on what his contract is and what the influence he has with that particular product. So with Kyrie Irving, that's a lot of influence to bring other athletes that are coming into the league, that are coming out of college, that are coming into the NBA to want to don that Anta brand. So that takes me to what Reebok did. Reebok, is opening doors now, because if you notice, you got two big time names in Shaquille O'Neal, Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal and Hall of Famer Allen Iverson, to be the president and the vice president of your brand. So what it is for their basketball operations, for their shoe brand, Allen Iverson, when he came into the league, he brought that swag, he brought the hip hop stuff, and he related to a lot of people. But then the commissioner, David Stern, rest in peace, at that time, banned that dress code that Allen Iverson was donning, so they had to, dress up. But Allen Iverson can relate to the culture. Allen Iverson can relate to the people that are now coming into the NBA. And that has a big influence to put Reebok back on the map in the sports world. So what I'm saying is, what Reebok did is major. A lot of people look up to Shaquille O'Neal. A lot of people look up to Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson has had his run-ins, and the situation is well documented about his money situation and things like that he has that lifetime deal with, Reebok, but he can't touch his money until I think he's 53 or 56. So this is major for Allen Iverson. This is a financial relief for him to be named the vice president of basketball operations for Reebok. And, Allen Iverson had the signature shoe in 1996. Shaq had the signature shoe in 1992. But this is what Reebok had to say about the announcement. Reebok is trying to reestablish itself brand in the sports world, and Wednesday it announced the hiring of two people it believed can help do that. Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal and Allen Iverson. In a full circle moment for both the players and brand, O'Neal has been named Reebok's president of basketball, and Allen Iverson has been named vice president of basketball. O'Neal was Reebok's very first signature athlete, and the Shaq Attack was its first signature shoe. Iverson was also a Reebok athlete, and his popularity in the early 2000s gave the brand a big boost in edgy credibility. Al is the founding father of Reebok basketball and has left a lasting impact on the game and its surrounding culture. This is what Shaquille O'Neal said via the boardroom. There is no one I'd rather work with to bring a new generation of ballers to Reebok than him. Shaq and AI back at it. Feels good. So this is some major news, man. Two Hall of Fame basketball players that can relate to the culture, bringing Reebok back to the forefront. Shaq's, he donned his Reeboks, and this is major. 1992, like I said, Shaq, he stepped on the scene with the Reeboks, and Reebok was very imperative in the NBA. In 1996, as we see here, Allen Iverson, he had his signature shoe, he came with the crossover and things like that. So this is major what Reebok is doing, man. And shout out to Reebok for doing that, because Reebok was really, taking a back seat to these Nike athletes, these Anta athletes, and, Kawhi Leonard with the New Balance. And Reebok has kind of like fizzled out. But now I think Shaq and AI are going to bring a brand new excitement back to the athletes that, want to wear the Reebok shoe. So that's a great move by Reebok. That's going to bring their money value back up. AI has did great things for the lifetime that he's been with Reebok. Shaq also. And I think with these signature shoes that are coming out for these athletes that they're bringing in, they're going to be cost effective. I think a lot of kids are going to be able to go out and purchase it instead of, spending the $200 to $300 on sneakers. And that's just as well as Anta with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving has done a great thing now. He had his press conference when he signed with Anta, and he believes that he can bring a generational talents, over to that brand. So, guys, we got to look forward to that. And before we wrap it up, I just want to address a few things, man. It's a lot of people that, come into the comments and say a lot of things about, different topics and things like that. But if you're not watching the full show, please don't comment on the video coming in half-assed. Because a particular video that I did stating some facts about the decline of FS1, there was a comment posted talking about it was very immature for you to say that the numbers was declining without showing proof. Well, if you would have watched the whole podcast, you would have saw that what I put up on the screen and read out loud was the declining numbers from FS1. And I appreciate everybody that backed me up on that and gave me the support. Kudos to y'all. And, you know, y'all guys let me know what y'all think in the comments about Reebok bringing on Shaquille O'Neal and Allen Iverson for the president and vice president of Reebok basketball operations. Well, that's going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
Another one.